I thought it might be useful to actually look at the strengths of the armed forces of Pakistan and India. So let's bring out the overall strengths and then I'll put some context to it. So first up, let's take a look at the overall military strength. India at 55,000, Pakistan at about half of that number. There are reserve troops who are very important as well. India at more than double the number of Pakistani soldiers who are reservists. In terms of aircraft, and we're talking about military aircraft at this stage, India is at 2,229 aircraft. Overall, Pakistan at 1,399. I would like to explain over here that not all aircraft would be necessarily deployed in operations against Pakistan should those operations commence. We have a huge frontier. There are multiple roles for these aircraft and of course China as well. So let's go on to the next one. Let's look at fighter aircraft, and this is much more specific. India has 513 fighter aircraft. Pakistan has 328, but I think again the China factor is important. India needs to maintain our defenses on the China frontier. That's a huge frontier. The Chinese Air Force is very large. It substantially outnumbers us. And the Pakistan Air Force, as I will explain to you in just a moment, is a near peer, according to many. What exactly do I mean by that? Let's go to the next one and take a look at the fighter aircraft that India operates and Pakistan operates. We've got the Rafale, the Mirage 2000, the Jaguar, the Sukhoi 30, the MiG-29, and the Tejas. These are our frontline platforms. I've not included the MiG-21 that does remain in service. But let's look over here. These are three of the primary types that Pakistan operates. It's not exhaustive. They operate the Mirage 5 as well. This is the J-10, the J-17, JF-17 and the F-16. The F-16 remains extremely capable. It's been upgraded by Pakistan. It fires this missile, the AMRAAM missile. The J-10 is a new aircraft recently acquired by Pakistan. It fires a missile called the PL-15. It's an extremely long-range missile. India counters the J-10, in fact all of these, with the Rafale. The Rafale is believed to be more sophisticated and better armed than the J-10, the Pakistani J-17 and the F-16. One of the primary reasons for that is that it fires a missile called the Meteor, which is widely considered among the world's most advanced ultra-long-range air-to-air missiles, capable of taking out targets approximately 200 kilometers away. So in a shooting match, it's the first shot advantage which might go in India's favor given the sophistication of the Meteor missile, but Pakistan will be relying heavily on PL-15 missiles, which the J-10 fires and which the JF-17, I believe, is also equipped with. And of course, the AMRAAM missile, which is an American missile, they fired that the day after Balakot in 2019, remains an extremely dangerous piece of kit. India has got the Mirage 2000 firing the Mika air-to-air missile, and those are just air-to-air missiles. I'm not getting into cruise missiles. I'm not getting into guided bombs or anything of that sort. But that's just the air-to-air sort of way in which these fighters are ranged against each other. I'm rushing through this because there's a lot more over here. But let's move on now to transport aircraft. If there is a conflict between India and Pakistan, India will be relying very heavily on our transport aircraft. In fact, the entire frontier across Pakistan and China maintained by aircraft such as the C-17. Pakistan uses the C-130 Hercules. We also use that same type, albeit much more advanced. Helicopters, India, again, without helicopter operations, the Indian Armed Forces would not be able to be competitive at all. Multiple roles, stocking up supplies, transporting ammunition, transporting soldiers. These are the lifeline. People keep talking about fighters. It's helicopters and transports which play an equally important role. Let's take a look at another type of helicopter, the attack helicopters. Pakistan operates US-made Huey Cobra helicopters. They've got newer Chinese ones as well. India has got this, the Apache, widely considered the most advanced attack helicopter of its class in the world. We've also got the Made in India Prachand helicopter and also armed variants of the the ALH called the Rudra, which we operate. So, and the old Russian Mi-35s remained fairly dangerous even now in the context of modern war. But let's take a look at tanks. Pakistan's primary tank, one of their primary tanks, is the Al-Khalid tank. They are a formidable tank force with 2,600 tanks. India has got approximately double that number. The primary weapon we use is the T-90. If these become relevant if there is a war. These are not used obviously in Kashmir by and large. These are, however, used in Gujarat, certainly across Rajasthan and parts of Punjab as well. This is in case there is a larger war. This is when tanks get into the scheme of things. Armored vehicles, again important, deployed all over. This is the M113 that Pakistan uses. India's got a way larger number, but of different classes and types. This is the old Russian BM2, but this is essentially a taxi to get soldiers into the battlefront. It is of use primarily, certainly in some parts of Ladakh, but primarily in the plains, Gujarat, Rajasthan, and indeed Punjab. So next up, let's take a look at howitzers, guns, the big ones. India relies heavily on the Bofors. We've got M777s now from the United States, extremely advanced. Pakistan has got a series of Chinese designed guns as well. So in a shooting match on the line of control, which is something that cannot at all be ruled out, it's the big guns when they do open up and start targeting each other and areas on each side of the line of control and the international border that we really need to keep an eye out on. Let's move on to the Navy. India, this is where Pakistan is, it's completely not a match. India significantly more advanced. Let's take a look, for example, at aircraft carriers. India's got 2 aircraft carriers, the Vikrant and the Vikramaditya. Pakistan and most countries, in fact, around the world don't operate aircraft carriers. Submarines, India's got many more advanced submarines. This is a French-built submarine, the Agosta 70. India operates also French-built, the Scorpion submarine. A few of Pakistan's submarines, according to satellite imagery, are in dry dock at the moment. The Pakistan Navy used to operate destroyers. None are really war-fighting fit at the moment. India operates 13 world-class, state-of-the-art destroyers. No two ways about that. Even in frigates, the Indian Navy outnumbers and the Pakistan Navy, and in terms of quality, the warships, whether they're made in India or a Kriva class, which is made in Russia, they are far superior. Now, the X factor in all of this, nuclear weapons, we are getting this from the status of world nuclear forces. They've got their own ways of sort of getting a rough number. These would be fired by ballistic missiles. This number refers to the number of potential warheads that India and Pakistan have developed. Again, no one is going to talk at all about this.